Today we're going to be talking about Kenobi's episode 5 and 6. So we start off with when they're on Jabim, which is a precursor to like what you would say is a rebel base.
Yeah, I mean the path kind of gives you the vibe that it's like going to be one of the first resistance cells.
So you have it where is Rokon, right?
Roken, yeah.
Roken, he reminds me of like Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, I got that vibe too.
Yeah, he reminds me of Saw Gerrera. Like he's gonna be a big resistance fighter later on. Obviously, we don't ever see him later on, so maybe he's killed, he's like a new character they've introduced, and they've yet to develop him further into other things.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like he fits into the whole Saw Gerrera, Mon Mothma type mold of being a leader that people follow, you know?
Yeah, I see that. So they're obviously on the base. Reva has put a tracker inside Leia's little droid Lola, so obviously she can track down Obi-Wan.
The second it lands, yeah.
Because like if we were to go back to the end of episode 4, which I think we must have skipped over, was when Vader just comes in and he just, oh God, was he pissed?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
we
forgot that.
I think we might have skipped over that due to me ranting and raving about spiders and grievers. So I think we got distracted.
Yeah, they escaped and he was pissed.
So they escape. To briefly go back on and touch on episode 4 again. Vader comes in. Holy shit, is he furious. He just comes in and the other Inquisitors are like, Vader's here, man. This is not good. They're just like, Dad's turn up. And he just grabs her and starts, they're like, look, you have failed me for the last time, third sister. He's like, I put a tracker on him. And people are like, oh, but why didn't he just kill her outright there? And it's like, well, because she'd said to him, I've got a tracker on Kenobi, and that's more important than him killing her, stupid ass.
Yeah, because I mean, people kind of forget at this point, Vader is more Anakin than he's Vader, and he wants to kill Kenobi. Kenobi is the only thing he cares about.
Yeah, at this point, okay, yeah, it has been 10 years since they had their fight, but he's still obsessed with Kenobi. And with her saying, okay, yeah, he might have got away, Lord Vader, but I've got a tracking beacon on him. All right, fine. As much as I want you to die, I'm gonna let you live this time. And I have seen it where people are like, oh, you know, but he was caught up, he was pissed, and he was in the dark side. It's like, yeah, but he wasn't that, and he immediately just changed. And it's like, yes. It might not make sense because he was kind of gung-ho at that point, but the moment she mentions Kenobi, it snaps him out of the dark side so he can refocus himself into say like, alright, now I've got another chance to get Kenobi.
Yeah, I think a lot of people seem to forget that just because the dark side is fueled by negative emotions, it doesn't necessarily mean it's always going to be anger.
And because obviously, like when you see what happens with Palpatine in Return of the Jedi, it gives him like tunnel vision. He can't really sense or see anything around him because he's so tapped into the dark side just to end Luke. So, getting on now back to episode 5, you've got Lola's been hacked by Reva to have a tracking beacon put in it.
Yeah, the thing I didn't understand.
She's obviously not gonna let Kenobi get away, and obviously she can start activating that beacon so they can start finding a location of Kenobi, which is where we get to Planet Jabim.
Jabim, yeah. See, the thing with that, right, is that they mentioned that it was a restraining bolt, right? Which we've seen them use on R2D2 and C3PO. It's supposed to limit the functions of a droid. But this is like the first time we've seen a restraining bolt be used to completely reprogram a droid.
Yeah, because obviously it has the blue light and then it goes into red. If you want, like, the droid gone from the light side to the dark side. That's what that kind of
I mean, it's
reminds me of.
We know that the restraining bolts are supposed to restrict movements and all of that shit.
Yeah.
But we've never seen it used to completely overwrite a droid before, ever.
No, we haven't. So it's a good thing that obviously Dave now put into it, where you can see changes of to the programming of droids, which I think is a nice little touch. Instead of it just being like, oh, we're just going to basically restrict it. It's like, no, this time we're completely rewriting it. Now we're just going to override it, hack it, narratars. I like that. So they activate the homing beacon to where Kenobi is, and they're like, right, we've got him. Alert Lord Vader, say, right, we've got him. We know where Kenobi is. They start hatching a plan because they know, right, the Empire's not far behind. They're going to be here any moment. They've got better weaponry, faster ships, plus their hyperdrive works.
Yeah.
Which obviously they know without their I mean, okay, at that point it isn't really discussed, but I think you can kind of gather in a way that their hyperdrive is not going to work. It's not mentioned really at that point, but I think you can just roughly deduce that it's not working. So,
yeah, I mean, obviously you've got these ships, and they're obviously like civilian ships, right? They're not like military.
No,
because the path is literally a civilian. There's a civilian campaign right now. It's not like they've got any military backing or anything.
No, so they're obviously at the base. They know, right, the Empire's only going to be here in literally a matter of time. We're going to have to figure out how the hell we're going to get all these people off this planet and escape the Empire. So, what is it? Obi-Wan, Tala, and Roken start coming up with a plan of how the hell they're going to get out all these people, keep the Empire at bay, Lord Vader at bay, and get the princess out.
Yeah, see, originally they're not sure. They don't think the Empire's coming because they're not prepared for that. But they want to make sure they evacuate all of the people as quickly as possible anyway, just in case.
Just in case, obviously, the Empire's going to be ran there. Because, yeah, as you said, they don't know. They know that the Empire could turn up. They just don't know how the Empire's going to turn up.
And basically, the reason why they were evacuating all the people immediately at that point in time was because they had to use the ships to go save Leia, and so therefore they've thrown off their delivery times.
Yeah. So obviously they've got Leia back. They've got everything in a way that they need. Now it's just, we need to get the hell out of here, but avoid the Empire at the same time. Not obviously allow Leia to be captured again, whilst getting all the people to safety. It's like, okay, how are we going to get these people out and get her out, split off to get her back to Alderaan, and then get these people to somewhere in the further reaches of the galaxy so the Empire can't get them.
Yeah. And of course, then they get a sense of warnings about the Empire coming, and they're like, shit.
It's like, right, the Empire's on its way. We need a plan. We're gonna have to basically bunker down, fortify this place, defend it as best as we can, survive, hopefully, and get the hell out.
Yeah, because they were already about to evacuate, but then, as we know, the Lola droid got taken over, and it closed the shutter doors.
Yeah. So then, obviously, they were like, right, Lola's... They did know that Lola...
No one did.
Okay, so they didn't know that Lola had been possessed or
taken control
taken control of. So it's like, right, the shutters have now been closed. The hell are we going to open them? No one's small enough. Which obviously, in her natural way, Leia's like, I'll do it because clearly I'm a pipsqueak. Knee-high to a grasshopper, I'm small. Even for a 10-year-old, to me, she seems quite small.
Yeah, a bit, yeah.
So she's
I'd
like,
say
right,
so.
I'll go. I'll get in, find the wires that we need to, and to basically manually override the system so we can open up the shutter doors so we can get the ships out to start the evacuation. Vader's been informed where Obi-Wan is. And it's like, right, send everyone there. It's like, right, okay, as you wish, Lord Vader. So then you've got the arrival of the stormtroopers.
And a couple of purge troopers as well.
Yeah. Plus, then you've got, obviously, Reva, the third sister. Then,
Who at this point has been made Grand Inquisitor.
yeah, at this point, Obi-Wan... I don't know why I said Obi-Wan, probably because he was on my mind. But it's like... She has a meeting with Vader. Vader, again, obviously still doesn't care about the Grand Inquisitor. It's like, look, he's nothing to me. He's disposable. He's worthless to me in a way. I mean, he might be thinking that, probably not, but it's like, look, you want to be Grand Inquisitor? Fine. Here you are. Congratulations, third sister. You've now been promoted. You've got what you wanted. You're the new Grand Inquisitor. She then leads the charge to then start the attack on the base to kill the resistance, while also I wouldn't say the whole plan was to kill Kenobi. It was to capture Kenobi so Vader could be the one to finish him off.
Yeah, her plan was always to capture Kenobi, not kill him.
Yeah. Because obviously Vader wanted that satisfaction that he was going to be the one to finish off his former master. I guess if he were to finish him off and take him out, then possibly with him killing Obi-Wan, obviously if Obi-Wan weren't in the original trilogy, it might have completely killed the last remnant of Anakin that was still residing in Lord Vader.
Oh yeah, it's quite possible.
It's quite possible that if he would have then like, look, here's Obi-Wan, right, that's it, you're done, you're going to die. He kills him, and the last bit of Anakin dies, and then he's fully Darth Vader. Because he's still he's 99% Vader, but he's still got that 1% of Anakin. Kills Obi-Wan, that percentage of Anakin dies, then he's fully under the control of the Emperor. Then he will never be kind of like, oh, you know, you still got a bit of Anakin in you. Because I think, despite everything, the Emperor knows there's still a bit of Anakin left in Vader.
Oh yeah, he can definitely sense it for sure.
Definitely knows that it's like, look, despite...
I mean, even by the time you get to Rebels, which is actually after this series, even when you get to Rebels, there's still hints of Anakin there, like
Yeah.
when he faces Ahsoka.
Because obviously she was his Padawan.
Yeah.
So that's what I reckon. If Vader obviously killed Obi-Wan, not obvious, I don't think he wouldn't have killed him on. I don't think on the planet is he'd have been captured, brought to Vader, and they'd have probably I think he'd have killed him on Mustafar.
I think he would have tortured him first.
He would have tortured him.
Probably would have dropped him in the lava.
He would have killed him on Mustafar and say like, look, this is where you left me to die. This is where I'm going to leave you to die. You're going to die the same place that Anakin did. So I suspect if he'd have if he'd have captured him and actually did kill him, not in The New Hope, but if he killed him in the Kenobi show, I reckon he'd have done it on Mustafa, kind of in a way poetic justice.
Yeah,
Possibly.
I mean, his castle's there, so it would make sense he would end up getting killed there.
And obviously that was the last time that he faced him as Anakin. So it's like, you die where I died. Master and Padawan died together. The former master and student.
I mean, they do refer to him as an apprentice as well, because if you remember, the title of the two-parter that had Ahsoka in it that Darth Vader was in was called Twilight of the Apprentice.
Yeah. But that's what I reckon is that's where they would have completely ended it, is they died together. It's like Obi-Wan dies where Anakin died. That's it. He's done. He's completely fully Vader. He's fully in the dark side. And he'd have probably been even more powerful because he would never have had that little bit of pull in him, because Anakin would have been completely wiped out after the death of Kenobi. So then you have it where the invasion starts, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they blockaded the entrances to try and keep them out as long as possible.
Yeah.
Basically, the idea that Roken and Obi-Wan came up with was that they would hold them off as long as possible.
As long as possible
to get the doors open and evacuate everyone.
So obviously, he leaves her safety to Raja. Is that the guy's name? That phony Jedi is Raja.
No, it's Kaja.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm sure it's Kaja.
Okay, so he leaves her to him. I mean, again, at this point, so from how he was in the third episode, not trusting anyone, he's trusted him. So he's starting to trust people. Besides Roken and all that, he's starting to trust other people, even though the guy, was fucking other people and he was screwing them over in a way by pretending to be a Jedi. He was a con artist. He still trusted him enough that he left him responsible for the safety of Princess Leia.
And I think part of that was due to the fact that, yes, even though he was a con artist, he was pretending to be a Jedi. He was true to his word. He did get them off the planet. Even though he took money for it, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. He got them off the planet somewhere else. Yeah. That's what he said he was going to do, and that's what he always does. Even though he's conning people, he's doing it because he needs to make a living, but he's still getting the people off. He's true to his word when he says he can get them off the planet.
Yeah, his intentions are good, but how he goes about it is wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Han Solo in that way. Like, Han Solo generally does the right thing, but he still rips people off.
Yeah, because obviously he's a smuggler. So, I never actually thought of it like that. The kind of like similarities between him and Solo. Never thought of that.
Yeah, because I mean, as I said, even though Han Solo pretends that he doesn't care, he clearly does. Because if he didn't care, he wouldn't have come back to help them on the trench run, would he?
Oh, what? Obviously, where him and Luke had the argument, and he's like, "Nah, I'm done, kid." It's like, "I'm leaving." Luke's like, "All right, fine, go on then. If you're gonna go, go. Be an asshole. Fuck off, then, and I'll see you later." And then Han comes back, and it's like, "Yeah, nah." He's like, "I'm not coming back for you. I'm coming back for your sister. I'm not coming back for you." It's like, you're just some young punk. I'm not coming back for you. So like, I'll take Leia though. And I was like, oh hell no, because obviously at that point Luke didn't know that Leia was his sister. People still have problems with that, and it's like, yeah, but that was just how it was written. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of people seem to forget that they kind of take George Lucas at his face value in that he says he had it all planned out from the beginning. He didn't. And we know he didn't because there was a version of the second movie where Leia isn't his sister and Han Solo did fuck off and didn't come back.
Yeah, it isn't. It's a bit weird, but at the end of the day, what happened at the end of the day. You're not going to change something from like nearly 40 years ago, are you? So
yeah,
the invasion starts. The blockade's in place. The stormtroopers are ready. everyone's in place. The Grand Inquisitor, i.e. Reva, turns up. And then Obi-Wan senses her. And I was like, nah. I need to face this bitch down.
Yeah, so this was, obviously that was after they had the first skirmish.
Yeah, they had the
and
first...
they die.
They
And
had,
quite a few people die.
so you had it where they're attacking the doors. They're blasting it with everything they've got, but there's some quite robust doors. It was like, right, this clearly isn't working. Which is, as you said, which is after the first skirmish where, a couple of people died, but obviously no one important and no one that was, important enough to kind of further the story. So,
yeah. So after that, after the first skirmish that they have, Obi-Wan goes out to talk to Reverend, doesn't he? The first time.
yeah, so he's like, right, let me go out, let me try and talk to her, let me try appeasing her, which... Was that... No, I thought that happened after the...
No, because they had two different conversations, if you remember. You had one where he came out to talk to her, to try and convince her to let the people go and all of that shit. And then they had another talk when he was captured.
Oh no, I was going to say, like, obviously where he didn't go out though, because they were blasting at the door and it didn't work, and he walked up to the door.
Yes, yeah, you're right, yeah. They were talking through the door, yeah.
They were, because he could sense her and she obviously could sense him, so he's like, right, let me confront her without actually going out there. So he walks up, so he's like, in a way, right, send out a communication, say like, I want to talk to her. She's like, okay, Kenobi wants to talk. Right, so let's talk. And that's where obviously he walks up to the door, she walks up to it to listen to it. And was like, right, basically, what you got to say for yourself, Kenobi. Where he obviously tries to say to her, like, look, sorry for what happened, sorry for the way things turn out. He tries to persuade her to drop everything, like look, allow me to get these people out of here and you can have me. Let them go and you can take me to him. I think she was actually going to agree to it. Because, I mean, yeah, obviously they obviously wanted to take out the resistance as well. But he's more important. Well, he's not more important to her or the Empire. He's more important to Vader. And if she could have been like, all right, fine, I'll allow these people to go. She could have obviously said to one of the stormtroopers, like, alert the Star Destroyers, like, when that ship goes up, destroy it. Kill two birds with one stone. The ship goes up, still gets taken out by either a couple of TIE fighters or the Star Destroyer. She captures Kenobi, brings him to Vader. Win-win situation. That resistant pact, as well as Leia die. Kenobi's captured, goes to Vader. He dies. Win-win situation, realistically. But it's just the way he's talking to her, and then it's just the way he starts to figure out, like, hold up a second. How the fuck do you know that he's Anakin?
Yeah.
And it's just the way he starts questioning. It's like, hold up a second. Something about this doesn't make sense. How the hell do you know that? No one's supposed to know that information. Like, the only people who know Anakin is Vader is Obi-Wan, Padme, but Padme's dead. The only people that know that who are alive is Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda. There's like two people to know, and Yoda at that point is missing in action. Okay, the only people that know where he is Obi-Wan and Bail Organa.
I think Bail Organa knows exactly where he is, but I don't think Obi-Wan does.
I thought Obi-Wan knew that he was on Dagobah.
Maybe. It's been a while since I watched them. You're probably right.
So, let's say for argument's sake, the only people that know where Yoda is Bail Organa and Obi-Wan. So it's like, okay, so there's only two people. They're the only other people. Bail doesn't know about Anakin being Vader, does he? I mean, not that it makes any difference because he's blowing up, but he doesn't.
He does.
Does he?
He does. He does, because if you remember when he was talking about Luke and Leia, he was saying that he was saying in the 6th episode, he was saying that if he doesn't hear back from him, he's going to go to Tatooine.
Yeah. Okay, so there's very few people that know Anakin is Vader. So it's the way that Obi-Wan starts piecing. It's like, hold up a second, but no one knows this information. How the fuck do you know it? It's like, well, you must have been there. You must have been at the Jedi Temple. You must have seen Anakin executing Order 66.
Yeah, and it's kind of like he was going through it, and he was just like, you're not old enough to have been there as a Jedi.
Yeah, you weren't old enough to have been there as a Jedi Knight, so you must have been a youngling. Because he knows that she's young, but she's obviously not too young that she wouldn't have been around to obviously witness Order 66, but she's not old enough that she wouldn't have been fighting during the Purge of the Jedi.
Yeah, because the younglings don't have lightsabers yet. That's kind of the point.
Yeah, because they're still in training. So with him starting to piece together and saying, right, okay, you were at the temple. You obviously see Anakin as Vader Vader in name. You've seen him going around slaughtering the Jedi and the younglings. Where she's kind of like, okay, so you figured it out of really who I am, so to speak.
Mm.
So he's obviously still pleading. Was like, look, I'm sorry for the way it turned out. Wasn't it that he was trying to apologise for not being there to kind of like rescue her in a way?
That kind of occurred after she basically asked him where he was. She said, he was your Padawan. Why weren't you there to stop him?
Yeah, so she's like, look, he was yours. You were responsible for him. You done this. You fucked everything up. If you'd have been there and slaughtered him at the Jedi Temple, there'd have been more Jedi survivors, and it probably wouldn't have been as bad because Anakin would have been put down there and then during Order 66. He wouldn't be what he ended up becoming in the mechanical suit as Vader. So she obviously blames Obi-Wan
for not stopping him.
For not stopping Anakin when, even at that point when he is fallen more to the dark side, Obi-Wan is still more powerful than Anakin.
See, he's not more powerful than Anakin. It's just that he's powerful enough that he would have been able to stop him.
Yeah.
It wasn't his power in the Force that enabled him to beat Anakin. It was because he knows him so well.
Well, no, I don't mean like he was more powerful than him in the Force. As like, in terms of fighting, he could still best him. Which is what you see. What was it? Was it episode 3?
The flashbacks.
Where they show you the flashbacks of Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting. Even though at that point Anakin's further along and he's training and he's quite powerful at this point, Obi-Wan still bests him to kind of show him like, look, no matter how powerful you think you are, I will still beat you.
Yeah, and I think
in a direct lightsaber fight.
It was quite an interesting. Those flashbacks were quite interesting because it was basically showing like Anakin's mentality as a Jedi. He was constantly trying to achieve victory because in his eyes, a victory meant that he was proving his worth, and that was what Obi-Wan was trying to work out of him. He was like, "You don't need to prove anything. You just need to know what you're doing.
You need to think clearly.
Yeah.
It's like you're still kind of letting your ego...
His need to prove himself is his undoing.
Yeah. And it's like, you're still allowing your ego and your arrogance to get the best of you. It's like you don't need to prove nothing. You've already proven yourself not only as a Jedi, but you've proven yourself as a military general. What else? There's not really much else for you to do.
I mean, in this case, he wouldn't have been proving himself as a military Jedi, as a military general at that point, because the flashbacks, based on their design, it implies that it's taking place before the end of Attack of the Clones, when the war officially starts, because he's still got his arm, and he's still got his Padawan braid.
That actually, you're right. That is a good point. It was good though seeing Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor fighting again. Even after all these years, they are both still agile and so nimble, like they were during Revenge of the Sith back in 2005. So after 17 years, my Christ, are they still agile and fucking nimble as shit? Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor both fighting, to me, is brilliant. Yeah. That was so beautifully done, seeing them two going at it again. That was class.
And obviously as the episode goes along, we discover that actually that Reva's entire reason for becoming the Inquisitor in the first place was to get close enough to Anakin to kill him. Or at least attempt to.
So at least, like what we discussed before in the first episode, where we suspected that she was in the Jedi Temple during Order 66. Otherwise, it would have made no sense. So it's good that obviously that was confirmed. I mean, it's kind of obvious. So...
yeah, I mean, it didn't make any sense in context until this
obviously, episode. Obi-Wan's like, oh, okay, so you were at the Jedi Temple, so you do know everything. So that's how you know that Anakin's Vader, because you were there.
And also, then you see the flashback of her seeing actual Anakin coming towards her and killing her friends.
Yeah.
And what was also interesting about this moment as well is that this is one of the first times in live action that we've actually seen a physical version of the clone trooper's armor. Because if you think back in the prequels, every single time you saw a clone trooper on screen, it was all CGI.
Yeah, you're right. Funny enough, I think it was it this morning? I was looking online and they showed you behind the scenes photo of the entire 501st that was with Hayden Christensen, and you see him kneeling down, taking his helmet off as Vader. I thought, that's a cool photo.
That's a cool photo.
That's cool.
I haven't seen that photo.
It's good that you see that behind the scenes. There is like, look, here they are. This is what the clone troopers look like, and here's Hayden Christensen as Vader. So, wasn't it during when them two were talking, doesn't he push her back with the Force?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that's obviously the behind the scenes photo that was someone put up on Twitter.
Sorry, pushing who back on with the Force?
Or was it she just walk back? Or was that once wasn't that once the fight started again that Obi-Wan pushed her back with the Force during the fight? It wasn't during the speech. It wasn't after the speech. Because she turned around and walked back and she turned around and walked back and was basically like, right, open fire.
Yes, you're right. He did. He force pushed her through her troops. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that they could close the doors. Yeah.
Yeah. So he force pushed her back, which obviously bought them enough time that they could close the doors and then start the evacuation.
Yeah, because she got annoyed with talking to him, and then she started cutting open the door.
Yeah, because obviously he started finding out everything about her. And it's like breaking down her life and her backstory in a way of who the hell she is and how she's gone from being a Jedi youngling to an Inquisitor, which obviously irks her because it's not really something that she wants to go down anymore.
No, and it's basically taking her entire plan and like dissecting it.
Yeah.
And she's not exactly the most stable emotionally, let's say.
Because was it at that point that when they're talking right by the door that he says to her like, you want to kill him, don't you? It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they start...
And he was saying that he can help.
That he can help. So it was like, look, drop everything, join us, I will help you, and we will both take down Vader. We will both end him, and we can save, well, millions of people from suffering under the rule of the Empire, and we can spare people a hell of a lot of misery at the hands of Vader. And
obviously her reaction to that was quite negative. It was basically like she was saying, how dare you? Like, you weren't there when I actually needed you. And now that I'm this close to the plan that I've made up myself,
you now want to help me.
You now, and now you're offering your help. I'm like, no.
It's like, when I needed you, you weren't there. Now I don't need you, you want to be there. It's like, that's not how that works, Kenobi. On your bike, go do one. So then you thought like the way he's looking and it's like, and the way the camera angle was, it was like, and she just pokes her lightsaber through and it's like, oh, that was close. That was a close call. So it's like, oh, it's like, fuck me. If she was like a few inches more to the left, she would have got him.
Yeah. I think he was moving back immediately because I think he heard it.
He must have known, like, oh wow, she's about to do something, and it's like, well, we'll see what she's gonna do, and which was obviously ignite her lightsaber and try and stab you.
And she cut through a big hole through the blast door.
So then obviously the attack starts again. They bust through the doors, and it's like an inside skirmish. At this point, obviously, Leia's getting closer and closer to where she needs to be to cut the wiring to unlock the doors.
The hangar doors, yeah.
The hangar doors, so obviously they can get the hell out there and escape. And you had the inside skirmish. You've got some of these resistant fighters, if you want to call them that, Tala and that loading droid. Nah.
Yeah, the one that we thought was someone in disguise. As it it seems to turn out that it was just a droid. But I think it's because it looks like someone's actually playing the droid, so that kind of made us think that maybe there was something else going on there.
Okay, yeah. So it's an actor in a suit playing a droid the same way as you had... Is it Anthony Daniels playing C-3PO? It's the same thing, but I still don't know because the way that droid acts is more human than droid. The way he was acting in episode 3. Was it? No, sorry, episode... Yeah, it was episode 3, yeah. The way he had the weapon behind his back ready to attack Reva, and in the way he is now in episode 5, and when Tala gets shot and injured and she goes down, he kind of like walks over to where she is and like shields her from everything with his body. Yeah, you do see the sparks and that going out of him. Seeing blood and all that is not really something you see, especially like a lot of blood. It's not something that you really see in Star Wars. So maybe it was kind of covered up by the sparks. Is it believable? No.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, though, we have seen droids that have more human characteristics before. The one in Rogue One. The one that was played. Oh, what's his name? The guy from Firefly. What was his name? The one that played the pilot.
No idea.
Name?
You'll probably have to look it up.
I think it's Alan Tudyk. Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
He played this. He played the droid, and that droid was very, very human in its behaviour.
Yeah, that's a fair point, because I think people were kind of suspecting that there was someone in the suit. I would have said that if, because of how big and bulky it was, I would have said the most likely option was Wrecker of the Bad Batch. I would have said it was him, but it's hard to say. Yeah,
I mean, it seems more like it was just like an abnormally aware droid.
Yeah, so I think maybe at the end of it, as you said, because you see quite a lot of sparks flying out with the droid.
I mean, also,
it's probably a droid.
If we think about it, the only people that said it's just a load of droids is the stormtroopers. And they're saying that the load of droids aren't allowed to speak, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have AI and that they're not intelligent.
That's true.
It's just that because they're not allowed to speak, people just assume that they don't know what's going on.
So
it plays into the theme of people being attached to droids in the same way that you would be attached to a pet. You know, like Luke and R2-D2, for example.
Yeah.
R2-D2 is basically his best friend, and it always has been. And he has a bond with a droid that's very similar to someone that had like a dog. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I mean, like the bond between Luke and R2 is the same bond that like Anakin has with R2.
Yeah.
I mean, weirdly enough, he has a better bond with R2 than C-3PO, yet he built C-3PO.
Yeah, I think that's because he spends more of his formative years with R2.
Whereas obviously R2's more useful than C-3PO. He's just a communication droid.
Yeah, because C-3PO ended up in the care of the Senate, didn't he? Which is why he didn't have C-3PO.
It was like, oh, I can speak like 6 million languages. It was like, yeah, but no one gives a shit. Just go fucking stand in the corner and shut up. He's not really useful.
Because originally he was making a droid so that his mum would have someone to help her, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was his original reason for making the droid.
So obviously he spends a hell of a lot of time with R2, and obviously he fights with R2 during the Clone Wars.
Yeah, R2 is like his go-to person to work with. Yeah.
So then you have it where the droid covers her as a shield. Just the way she's there, like, oh, if I'm gonna go down, I'm taking you bitches with me. And just pulls out a grenade.
Thermal detonator.
So it was like, yeah. So it's like, I'm going down, fuck you all. Boom. And I mean, for me, badass way to die. Cool, love.
I'm going out on my own terms. Fuck you guys.
And then all hell breaks loose because Vader turns up. I'm more than likely I've skipped over a bit. I'm going to be quite certain of that.
Yeah, because remember he surrenders first.
What, Obi-Wan? Yeah, Obi-Wan surrenders and it's like, right, alert Vader, we've got him.
Yeah, like he surrenders and then they take him back into the base.
Yeah. And then it's like, right, tell Vader we've got him. And it's like, right, here he comes. And it's like, right, here comes Vader. And so it's like,
and Vader comes, and then obviously Obi-Wan has now escaped from the stormtroopers.
And it's like, right, okay, let's bring Obi-Wan this way. Keep him here. Why? I have no idea. Vader turns up, and there's like, where is he?
Oh look, he's killed the stormtroopers. Of course he has. It's Kenobi.
And it's like, why the fuck did you walk? Why did you let him go off there? You're supposed to keep an eye on him, Grand Inquisitor. What the hell is wrong with you? oh, I'm sorry, Vader. And it's like, he goes off so pissed, and he just turns up to where the ships are. I'm sorry. The way he pulled that ship down with one hand.
Yeah,
and he just fucking just is like, right, oh, you think you're getting away? No, pulls it down and just rips it to pieces like it was nothing. That was badass. And that just shows you.
That was absolute savagery.
Do you know what that reminded me of? Starkiller.
Yeah, that reminded me of that.
Yeah. The way he
when I saw that, I was like, shit, that's a Starkiller.
That's a Starkiller move. But it was just the way he does it so effortlessly.
No, you can tell he's not even struggling.
He's not even struggling. He's like, oh yeah, there's your ship. Yeah, no, Dan, rip.
Pulls it to the floor and
Jesus.
just rips the shit out of it.
That thing was fucking badass as hell.
That was fucking awesome.
So then, obviously, Vader's there. He's pissed.
He's ripped the fucking ship apart.
He's ripped the ship apart thinking, right, I've got him. And then the other one takes off and then flies away immediately. He's like, I ain't not even I'm going to be powerful enough to fucking capture that now. Well, son bitch.
Yeah, and then obviously fucking...
That's where obviously he's standing around and he's focused on the ship. And then Reva sneaks up, or quote unquote sneaks up behind Vader, trying to assassinate him so she can put an end to everything, because that was her whole plot, was to get close to Anakin enough, get close enough to Vader that she can kill him.
Yeah, and that's basically what everyone was trying to say.
Which did not work. It was the way that she sneaks up on him and he just turns around and just stops her lightsaber with the Force. There was like, you really thought you could do this to me? Like, you do remember who I am, right? I'm Darth Vader. I am powerful as shit. And the way that she tries challenging him and he just bests her with putting in no effort, using the Force. Oh.
He uses the Force and then he takes her own weapon away from her.
And it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to take your lightsaber.
And snaps it in half and gives her the other half.
Azera's like, right, I'm going to snap it in half. There's your pick. And he's there like, well, go on then. Pick it up. Pick it up then. Fight me. And he still bests her. The way she tries to hit him from different angles. And he's like, no. Stopping her
knocks her ass on the floor and then takes the other side back.
Oh my god.
He's got both halves of his hand now.
And it was like, alright, we can do that. I've now got all your lightsaber. What the hell are you going to do about it? Now, the bit where, obviously, he walks up to her and he stabs her.
Yeah.
And at the same time,
she's getting flashbacks of being stabbed.
She's getting flashbacks of being stabbed during Order 66 by Anakin. I don't think that bit is real. I don't think Anakin really stabbed her. I think she's imagining it as she's still that innocent child, and it's Anakin is the one that's killing her, not Vader. I don't think that bit... Okay, yeah, you could say the way it's done, but I don't think Anakin really did. I think it's just she's imagining Anakin killing her when it's not. That bit never happened. It's actually Vader doing it. I don't think she was really stabbed as a youngling. No way.
See, the way it's framed, it seems like, and the way that she describes it, it seems like he killed the others around her.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, maybe she got slashed or something and she just pretended to be dead. That's what she said.
Yeah,
if you impaled someone with a lightsaber in that way, there's no fucking way that they're going to survive at that age. Not a chance.
No, not when you're going up against Darkseid Anakin as a youngling. Hell no, he will destroy you. And that hole from a lightsaber with a
would be absolutely massive.
On a body frame that tiny, no, that's a fatality, plain and simple. So as I said, I don't think he really stabbed her as a youngling. She's imagining it as Anakin doing it, not Vader.
Yeah, because the last time she saw that blade coming towards her, it was when he was killing her friends.
Yeah. So she's there on the floor bleeding out from Anakin, and then not Anakin, from Vader, and then he's there like, you really thought you could trick me, you really thought you could lie to me, and then the Grand Inquisitor just turns up and they're like, oh, we're gonna leave you the same way we found you, third sister. lying in a gutter. I'm sorry, but that was cool.
That's killer.
The way the Grand Inquisitor turns up and they're like, oh, I'll have my insignia back and fuck you. I'm off.
Yeah, the part that doesn't make sense to me, though, is that when she gets up to go elsewhere, because she finds she finds Obi-Wan's Jedi holocron, doesn't she, with Bel's message on it.
Well, she doesn't get up, she crawls to it. So she crawls to it and she's like, hold up a second, and then she listens to the message about Luke on Tatooine. So she's like, right.
Yeah, she heard boy and Tatooine.
So it's like, okay, so clearly he has a boy or suspects something that his boy is important. Again, how she's kind of... I'm not saying that you can't survive a lightsaber hit, you know.
I mean, as I said, the fact that she took it in the side is telling, meaning that it didn't hit any vital organs,
yeah.
And it self-cauterizes because it's a lightsaber.
I mean, but the thing is, okay, the only person that didn't really survive getting hit by a lightsaber was Qui-Gon Jinn, but look at Maul.
Yeah, he didn't survive it, but that's because he took it clean through the stomach.
Yeah, but then look at Maul. Maul cut in half. Motherfucker still survived.
Yeah, but I mean, realistically,
his
hatred
for Kenobi.
Realistically, you don't actually have any vital organs underneath your waist.
It was still cut in half, dude. I'm sorry, but if I cut someone in half, you're dead. Plain and simple, dead.
Yes, normally you would be, but as we said, the dark side allows people to live on hatred. So,
which is what Maul done. So that's kind of really where that ends. Is she gets up and somehow gets a ship's. The fuck she get that?
Yeah,
ship?
And I was sitting there thinking, wait a minute, didn't he just fucking rip her fucking lightsaber in half? Where the fuck is she getting this full lightsaber from?
Oh, she still got one half to her double-bladed lightsaber.
No, because he took the whole lightsaber and snapped it in half and gave her half of it so that she could fight it. And then he took it back, so he had both halves.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea, but it's just... Where the hell did she get the ship from?
Yeah, well that's another one, isn't it?
You know,
where did she get the ship from? How the fuck did she get there before everybody else?
Because one ship was destroyed by Vader and his goddamn badass force powers, and where the hell did she get the other one?
You know, the only thing
unless they left her ship there, thinking, well, she's dead. But why not just take it with? It's a free ship.
unless they left a fucking shuttle or something behind. I don't see where she would have got.
I don't know. To me, that's weird.
Because we know that they killed quite a fair amount of stormtroopers, so there would be a shuttle ship that would be empty. But
I don't know. So what? Dude, let's go into the grand finale.
The sixth episode. Which was definitely the best episode.
Oh my god. Episode 6. That was incredible.
It was fucking amazing.
The thing is, there's not really a lot to talk about episode 6. The main thing that you talk about realistically is that fucking fight.
That fight was amazing.
That fight is pretty much the main important thing about the whole of episode 6. Okay, yeah, so I will admit, I was annoyed the way they were doing the jumping between the Kenobi Vader fight and Reva going after Luke and fighting against Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. I was like, I just want to see the Vader Kenobi fight. Then we could go on to the rest of it. So
yeah, I was like, I don't care about this part. Give me
why Reva went straight to Tatooine without trying to heal herself up first, threw her back to tank? I don't get that.
I think it's because she didn't want Obi-Wan to get there before her.
Yeah, because obviously she was under the impression he's going to go there first, which he would have obviously taken Leia home first, back to Alderaan, then he'd have gone back to Tatooine. Obviously she didn't know that, because she probably thought the girl was with the boy. She probably thought Leia's with Luke.
Yeah, quite possibly.
So, She's gone straight to Tatooine. She turns up in the... Well, not in disguise, but with a hood up in a typical Sith way. Not in a typical Sith way. She turns up, obviously, to mask herself with a hood up. She's going around, and she makes it known she wants Owen due to their prior interaction in episode 2.
Yeah, I think it was episode 2.
Obviously, then you have that guy, I forget who the hell he was, the one who then ends up going to alert Owen.
I think he was just a street vendor giving out water.
Yeah, so then he goes to alert Owen and say, like, look, someone's here for you.
Because Owen's a moisture farmer, the likelihood is that the guy that was giving out the water is probably the person that he sells his water to.
Yeah, Owen's more than likely a client of his. So he's gone to say to him, like, look, this scary bitch has turned up. She's coming for your ass. I'd advise you start, coming up with a plan to hide the fuck away.
Yeah.
He gets wind of it. He brings Luke back, and the way you see Luke in the shot with Owen reminds me of Anakin with what's his name? Watto. Yeah. So him with Watto, that's what that reminds me of with Luke with Owen. You could see a lot of young Anakin in young Luke. I like that.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
I thought that was quite good similarities. Showing you there, like, look, they end up on very different paths, but my God, the Skywalker boys are quite similar, heavily similar. He rushes him back to the house, or hut, whatever you want to call it. Aunt Bru's like, "Oh, fuck are you doing here?" And it's like, "Why are you?" And it's like, "Look, they're coming."
I think the igloo part is just the entrance, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it opens up.
So he's there like, look, they're coming. They know about us. They know about the boy. They know about Luke. We need to start coming up with a plan, and we need to start defending this. She turns up battered and bruised. She goes off to fight Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru to get Luke. At the same time, Kenobi gets out of the ship in...
I don't think they named the planet. It was like an abandoned planet.
No, the escape pod. That's it. I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah, right,
he gets out of the escape pod and he shoots off. That's where you get the disagreement between the Grand Inquisitor and Vader. And the Grand Inquisitor's like, "My lord, we need to go out to that ship. We need to destroy the rebels." And he's like, "I don't give a fuck about them. I want Kenobi. This ends now." And you see the look on the Grand Inquisitor like, "Well, I disagree with you, but I ain't going to challenge you because I don't really want to die." And it's the way, like, obviously Kenobi's like, "Look, I'll buy you time. I know your hyperdrive's fucked. You ain't getting out of here. Let me buy you the time. I'll distract him because I know what Anakin's like." They're like, "We don't want you. You've got no choice. All right, go." And then obviously he has to...
Yeah, I found that bit funny. It was just like, how do you understand this guy so well? When he's just like, yeah, never mind that.
And it was like, how the hell do you know this?
Will even work? And he's like, I just know.
So it was like, look, I just kind of know how the Sith work. That's what he can say. Like, look, I know how the Sith work. Obviously, he won't say that. Yeah, the reason why this guy's so monstrous and terrifying is because of moi. So they break off. You see, obviously, the disagreement between the Grand Inquisitor and Vader, but Vader's like, "I don't give a shit." You see, once again,
it's like the opinion is noted, but ignored.
So it's like, I understand and respect your opinion, Grand Inquisitor, but I don't care.
I don't even think he respects his opinion.
Like,
I think he just goes noted and then carries on.
Alright, I hear you. I hear what you got to say, but fuck you. I'm Dark Lord of the Sith, bitch. I do what I goddamn want. I'm the Emperor's right-hand man. What the hell are you going to do about it, bitch? And then you see, obviously, Obi-Wan again trying to talk to Qui-Gon. And it's like, look, I know you can hear me, Master. I can't hear you. But this ends today. This ends tonight. Either I die or Anakin dies. This ends. He goes off to the planet and Vader's like, get my shit ready. I'm going for him. Don't follow me. Don't even try to fucking interfere with me because I will end you. Kenobi's mine. And it's like, alright, as you wish, Lord Vader. Go about your business. They confront each other.
For real this time.
And it's, oh boy, that fight is incredible.
That fight is awesome.
That fight is so fun. It's probably one of the best fights in Star Wars.
Oh, fuck yeah. So good. So good.
It's the way that, like, you know...
I think the previous... One of the greatest lightsaber fight out of any of the movies for ages was the one in Revenge of the Sith. That fight was absolutely incredible. And I don't think this one beats it, but it's fucking close. It was really freaking good.
For me, I think my number one fight, I think, is Obi-Wan Qui-Gon versus Maul.
Yeah, is it? Do you know what? I do like that fight, but it didn't impact me as much as the Obi-Wan versus Anakin. It's because he's now having to fight like his brother. That's what just puts it above.
It might be more so because obviously you've got the Duel of the Fates.
Yeah, but that music is on point.
That the Duel of the Fates is perfect. But I think my favourite fight is Obi-Wan Qui-Gon versus Maul. Second, Anakin versus Kenobi in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
But I would say, yeah, Obi-Wan Qui-Gon versus Maul, I think takes I would say my top spot. Then that,
which is fair.
So
yeah, so for me it'd be Anakin and Obi-Wan. It'd be this one now, because it's so fucking good.
It's so good. The way there's like it's not just.
I think the only one the one I would put at third is Yoda versus Sidious.
Really?
Yeah.
I think maybe another one that I would put quite high up, either fourth or fifth, would be Palpatine versus Maul and Savage Opress. I like that fight.
Oh, you mean? Oh, yeah, in the Clone Wars. Yeah,
I like that.
Sure.
Was like, I can sense a familiar presence.
I mean, for me, I was thinking more about the live action ones. I mean, the Clone Wars and Rebels had some of the best fucking lightsaber fights ever. The one where it was Kanan versus Ezra against Kanan and Ezra versus Vader. That one was good, not because they stood a chance, but it just showed you how fucking outclassed they were. They had absolutely no fucking chance.
No.
And as I said, he almost decapitated a kid, and this is a fucking kids show, and I'm like, damn, that's cold.
It's Vader, dude. Vader don't play.
I know.
So Obi-Wan, kind of in a way, he goes on the attack. The way they just charge at each other is like, oh hell no. But the way that like Kenobi throws the boulder at Vader and he just threw it off in an instant, I had to rewatch. I was like, I'm sorry, how quickly did he do that? Is there was like he threw it towards him, he just went, no.
He just went, fuck you.
And he just disposed that. I'm sorry, but that flew off at ridiculous speeds.
Oh, fuck yeah. It was like, he went, boom, fucking gone.
He was there like, right, who's like, no, gone, bye, see you tomorrow. And it's like, holy shit.
But the thing that I find interesting about that, right, is it shows you that Vader is clearly more powerful than Kenobi in the Force.
In the
that
Force.
much is fucking clear.
In the Force, he will. If it was just a battle of the Force, yeah, bye Kenobi. He will decimate you, dude. He is so powerful. It's scary. How powerful that dude is. Now that, as I said, that whole fighting was brilliant, and the way that, like, when he smashes the helmet and he sees Anakin, and he said to him, like, "I'm sorry, Anakin. You know, I failed you."
Yeah, it was like
like what he. It's kind of like what he said to him in Revenge of the Sith. "I failed you, Anakin." And it's like, well, you know, I killed Anakin. So when obviously Ben tells Luke, "Oh, Vader killed your father," that's why. Because Vader's like, "Well, you didn't kill Anakin, I did."
Yeah, see, that was the interesting part. I thought that was really good, because it was like he was talking to, like, Vader, and it was blending James Earl Jones's voice in with Hayden Christensen. It was going back and forth, and it was good.
That was so good, but it was so, and the distorted voice. Oh man, that was creepy.
Yeah, and I was sitting there and I was watching it, and I was just like, he was talking to Anakin, as you said. He was like, "I'm sorry, Anakin, for everything."
Oh, as soon as he see his face, even though he was saying to Qui-Gon, like, "Look, I need to kill him," he couldn't. He couldn't do it. He was never going to kill him. He was never, despite what he said and despite what he had to do, he was never ever going to kill Anakin. Never.
Yeah, but I think the key thing that we have to consider, though, is when he was talking to Obi-Wan on the ship before he got to the surface, he said either he dies or I die. Never at any point did he say, "I will have to kill him."
Yeah, but you know what is, he was implying that, like, he's probably going to have to kill him.
Yeah, but he was also accepting the fact that he may very well get killed himself.
Yeah, but as I said, he was never going to be the one. He was never going to do it. He was never going to take out Anakin. If he didn't destroy the helmet, possibly him destroying the helmet threw him off.
Him destroying the helmet humanized Darth Vader. It brought Anakin firmly into his view.
Yeah, because it was like, right, the moment you hear Hayden Christensen talk, you see the blue of Obi-Wan's lightsaber. The moment it goes back to James Earl Jones, the redness from his lightsaber, so it still shows you the conflict. Even though it's been 10 years, you still see the conflict in Vader. You still see Anakin is still somewhat there.
Yeah.
But I think with him saying, "You didn't do it, you didn't kill Anakin, I killed Anakin," that I think was a kind of like a last gift from Anakin to Obi-Wan to say, like, "Look, stop feeling so pathetic for yourself. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Let go of the past. It's time to move on." I think that was kind of like a last gift from Anakin.
Yeah, I think
It was basically giving Obi-Wan the closure that he needed, and to allow him to fully go back to how powerful he was, near enough, during Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, see, I think my favourite line, or a couple of lines, is when Obi-Wan was finished apologising. Vader was just like, "I'm not your failure, Obi-Wan. You didn't kill Anakin, I did."
Yeah.
In his mind, he was saying, "I made me. It has nothing to do with you." But as you said, in Obi-Wan's context, it was literally washing away the guilt.
Yeah, so all the guilt that Obi-Wan had thinking that he killed Anakin had gone, because Vader admitted, it's like, "No. It's got fuck all to do with you, old man. This is all my doing. I am what I am of my own making. You're not responsible."
He's saying, "I killed Anakin."
Yeah. "I am responsible for me being me now. I'm responsible for Anakin being dead and for me becoming Vader. It's got nothing to do with you. So all your guilt, get rid of it because you don't need it, old man. I am what I am due to my own making. So,
and I think part of him was also saying that to Obi-Wan because he kind of wanted him to kill him in a way.
I would say so, yeah. He was kind of saying, like, look, put me out of my misery, kill me. I have nothing to live for. Because obviously he doesn't know about his kids, but it's like, look, everything that I love, my mum's gone, all my friends and family gone. This massive family of the Jedi Order that I had are gone. This way of life I had, gone. The love of my life, Padme, gone. What the fuck have I got? You're gone, Kenobi. He doesn't have Obi-Wan anymore. It's like, what have I got left to live for anymore? Nothing. Just put me out of my misery and kill me.
And what I find quite interesting is between their first conflict in the third episode and this conflict in the sixth episode, what Vader's saying has drastically changed. In the third episode, he said, I am what you made me.
Yeah.
But then in the sixth episode, he's saying, I made me.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's Anakin giving Obi-Wan that gift to say, like, look, let go of your guilt. Reclaim what you were and fight me.
I think, yeah, I see on that level.
Just
I think
the way like he was hitting his chest plate and his breathing, it's like, oh, whoops, here we go again. But the way Obi-Wan kind of went a bit OP and just had them boulders and just summoned them up like he's a god and just threw him out.
No, as we all know, Obi-Wan is clearly Space Jesus.
I'm sorry, we all know that. If there's anyone that's Jesus, it's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, not Obi-Wan now, because he's a bit old. But when you look at Obi-Wan in episode 2 and especially episode 3, he's Space Jesus.
Especially episode 2 when he had the space mullet.
Oh, my God. When he just turns up and it's like, yeah, I'm Space Jesus. And it's like,
yes,
yeah,
you are.
It's like, yeah, you are.
And it's like every time
But the thing is, he looks like Jesus though. If you were to get like a picture of Obi-Wan and Jesus, you were like, they're virtually the same dude.
The thing I find funny is, would it be funny if someone's like, if he still had the space mullet and every time he just shows up in like a club full of like younger women and he just goes, hello there, and they all just melt.
I mean, if he just said, they're like, hello there. And it's like, yeah. He's getting married tonight. And it's like, what? It's like,
something's happening.
Something's happening tonight, and it's going to be a lot of death sticks. But it's just like the way he started battering him. Okay, so Vader started dominating him, but it's the way he like Hulk smashes the ground. Holy fuck! The way he just slams the ground and just busts it open with the Force. That was badass.
Yeah, I think at that point Obi-Wan hadn't fully reconciled who he was yet.
No.
And then he got buried underneath and then he remembered what he was fighting
And then
for.
so he Force smashed him, broke the ground up and then crushed him and then started throwing rocks above him. I mean, it would have... I thought about it, because I was talking to one of the guys at work about it, and it's like, it would have been cheap and cheesy if he just did and went, I've got the high ground now, Kenobi. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. It might have been a bit cheap to use that.
That is what we wanted.
Yeah, you know, for Vader to turn around, look at him down and go, I have the high ground now, master.
And it's just like, the thing is though, is that if he had said it, it would have just like been hilarious because it's become a meme at this point.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yeah, but everybody loves the meme. That's why.
It's the high ground, you know. Once you have the high ground, you don't lose.
And then if Boba Fett can mention the high ground and be purely serious about it, I'm sorry. How can you not put it in?
The only person that had the high
Vader?
ground and lost, if you want to class it like that,
It was Darth Maul.
No, it was Qui-Gon Jinn.
No, it was Darth Maul.
He never had the high ground.
Yeah, he did.
When?
When when Obi-Wan was hanging onto the thing and he was trying to cut his fingers off.
I don't know why.
He jumped over him and just went boom, dead.
Yeah. He's the only one.
He jumped over and he cut him off.
He was the only one that never had the high ground. He had the high ground and lost. I don't think we're gonna. I don't think because he wasn't technically. We won't include that. So then he starts having flashbacks, and then he starts thinking about Leia. Like, look, I need to survive for these kids.
Leia and Luke, yeah.
Like, Leia and Luke. It's like, if I die, that's it. They're done for.
They need someone to protect them.
And the way he just gets them boulders and basically reclaims his powers and just throws them off and then just charges after Vader. Wasn't that? That's when he busts open his helmet after he starts battering him down like he's a god with the fucking boulders.
Yeah,
and he just threw him kind of against a rock with the force, and it's like, look, in the terms of a fight, Anakin, you're nothing to me. I will always beat you. It doesn't matter if you're Vader or not. I will best you in a fight any day of the week. In terms of the Force, no, you will wreck my ass. In terms of fighting, no, I'm the only one.
And I think what was really good about this episode, though, is that now that we've fully got the original Kenobi back, like the awesome General Kenobi that we all know, and it just shows you he was actually really quite powerful.
Yeah.
This is so overshadowed by the fact that, fucking Anakin's the chosen one and all that bollocks. And I'm like...
As I said, it was fueled it was fueling his ego due to obviously him constantly being told, you're the chosen one, you're the best, you're the greatest, we love you.
But like I said, at the same... It shows you just how powerful Obi-Wan Kenobi actually was. Like, he wasn't some fucking pushover. No. If he was, he wouldn't have won the duel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like... I really enjoyed it because it showed you actually that Obi-Wan Kenobi was very powerful in his own right.
Yeah.
And he had every fucking right to be.
So then, that's that. So that's basically the fight between Kenobi and Vader over. Vader's been bested by Kenobi. Kenobi's like, nah, I'm going. I don't need you anymore. I don't need this. I'm going. I'm free.
I think the emotions that came from Kenobi when Vader said that he had killed Anakin, and Kenobi was just then my friend has truly died, and he was so emotional. I was like, God damn, that hits me right in the feels.
That acting from Ewan McGregor there
that was incredible.
So beautiful. The thing is, you can see and you could feel the pain that he was feeling. As I was like, then my friend truly is dead. And it's like...
And then he said, and then he didn't even use his name after that. He said, goodbye, Darth. And you're like,
it's like, goodbye, Darth. And it's like, wow, okay, so he finally has let Anakin go and he's fully accepted Vader. But that kind of distorted scream from Kenobi, it's not as loud and as powerful as when Maul done it, but my God, that was a haunting call for Kenobi from Vader.
Yeah.
So...
There was rage and anguish at the same time, and I'm like, damn.
So then
this guy's twisted up.
Oh, 100%. So then it's obviously back to Reva, Owen, and Brew. He obviously hit her where she was stabbed with the lightsaber, because you see her as she's getting towards him, she's holding on to it.
Yeah, Owen grabbed her there, didn't he?
Yeah, so she was stabbed in the left side of her abdomen, just not in any vital organs.
No, I think it was the right side where he grabbed him, wasn't it?
No, I thought she was stabbed in the left side. It was in the screen it's the right side, but in reality it's the left side.
Right, yeah.
So they start putting up quite an effort, in fairness to them, which I thought was quite impressive, because you see somehow them putting up quite a fight with them weapons, which looks a bit... I don't know. How would you... they looked a bit like muskets. I thought, when the hell do they get like musket-looking weapons that look like actual real-life guns in Star Wars? And then obviously it's not. It's, you know, blasters. They've done that.
Yeah, but I think the thing you got to remember there though is that most of the weapons in Star Wars are based on real weapons.
Yeah.
Like the stereotypical officer's blaster is based on a Mauser. So
God, that weapon is so fucking useless. I don't mean the officer's blaster, I mean the Mauser. That thing is just.
But its design is based on the Mauser pistol, so they're all based on real life weapons.
Yeah. They put up quite a fight, and obviously they tell Luke, get out, run. Just don't come back, run. He runs off. She chases after him. See, the thing is he mustn't have seen her, because at that point, he...
No, because he was running, and then he tripped, and then he fell and hit his head, didn't he?
No, she knocked him out with the Force.
Oh, was it? Oh, yeah, she pushed him, but he didn't see it.
So at that point, he mustn't have seen her at all, or her lightsaber, because obviously it would have kind of retconned when he first gets the lightsaber from Obi-Wan in Episode 4. So he mustn't have seen her at all. He might have seen the redness of the saber, and that's about it, and not actually seen it physically.
Yeah, but she didn't ignite the blade until she was about to kill him. So she force pushed him, and he fell down the hill.
Yeah, so she might not
and hit his head.
But then I don't think it was. Again, I think it's still too early. I think they've rushed her character. I think a bit too much for her to just all of a sudden now come back to the light side. I think it's rushed, and it's too quick.
See, for me, I don't think she was ever really on the dark side. She was fueled by vengeance and anger.
She was tapped into the dark side because you see where she cuts off that woman's arm.
Yeah, but what I mean is that I don't think she was ever fully immersed in it. She was using it
more like the other Inquisitors, and then obviously more like Vader.
Yeah, she was using it because she was channeling her anger to use the dark side, but I don't think it fully took over. Like, because it's not like, because if you see the Grand Inquisitor is clearly fully immersed in the dark side because he's got the yellow eyes, which he didn't have when he was a temple guard.
Yeah.
So he is probably, aside from Vader, he's probably the closest to the dark side out of all of them. But then obviously there's a couple of other Inquisitors that also have the yellow eyes because they're part of the dark side too. But I don't think she was ever fully invested in it in that way. You know, kind of like Count Dooku. She uses it as a tool, as a weapon, but she's not really committed to it.
Yeah, because obviously he doesn't have Sith yellow eyes.
And clearly she had to have some level of dark side anyway, otherwise she wouldn't have been able to bleed the crystal red anyway.
Yeah. But I don't know, for me I think it was too quick.
Yeah, obviously, I think so too. The problem is that because it's a six episode series, it can take place over any number of period of time, but you don't actually know because it's only 6 episodes.
I don't think that it's not. I don't think the time wise in it is over a long period of time.
No, I think you're looking at what, like a week or two, maybe.
Probably, but I think they've rushed her character too much. They could have extended her out over, let's say, season 2 or 3, or gone more into her character in her own spin-off show. I think
for her, being unable to kill a child that is effectively the same age as a youngling, I think that does track.
Yeah,
it would literally be like her killing her friends. And that made sense that she couldn't do it.
That I won't disagree with, but as I said, for me, it was too quick.
I also found it quite interesting how they made, because she was wearing that cloak and stuff, her similarity to Anakin at that point was so massive. Because she was dressed in a robe, ready to kill a kid with a lightsaber. I'm like, man, that screams fucking Vader during Order 66.
It was basically, you were becoming the thing that you hate, which is you were becoming Vader. And that's why, obviously, when she brings Luke back to Beru and Owen, and obviously at this point Obi-Wan's arrived because he senses Luke is in danger, and then she breaks down in tears and she's like, have I become him? And he's like, well, no, because you never killed him. You haven't become Vader.
Because it's like, if she had killed him, she would be no. She'd kill
She'd
Luke.
be the exact
She'd
same.
be no better than Vader.
Was the fact that she did it. Was it? For me, it was too quick her character development.
Yeah, I do think it was rushed. I mean, we needed more nuance on it. Do you know what I mean?
I think she needed more time
in the oven.
Yeah. Then obviously you get what was it? You get Vader, and I did like the cameo of Palpatine.
Yeah, the Emperor.
I'm sorry. Anytime Ian McDermott turns up as Palpatine, I love it. I love Ian McDermott. I think he's phenomenal. For me,
I like how he refers to Anakin. He refers to Darth Vader as my friend rather than Lord Vader, which he does later.
Where he starts going on in his own, like, you seem agitated, my friend. And it's like, no shit, he's fucking agitated. He's just been bested by his former master. Of course he's agitated. He's pissed. See, the thing is, he's got back on. He's somehow got back onto his ship in that condition.
Hey,
right. So he's got back on his ship. Did he then go straight to Mustafa?
I would assume so.
Because if he went back to that ship, if he went back to that Star Destroyer, people would have seen his face. And we all know what happens when you see Anakin's face.
He kills you.
Even if it's his own fucking clone troop, even if it's his own troops, he will kill you. If the Grand Inquisitor had seen his face, he'd be dead. Which we know is not true because he's in Rebels.
See, I don't know about the Grand Inquisitor because I think he might actually know.
Knew he would have killed him. I think he would have killed him.
What do you reckon?
Yeah. And Vader doesn't give a fuck who you are. If you know he's Anakin, he'll kill you. In very few circumstances can you survive. Prime examples is Grand Moff Tarkin. Grand Moff Tarkin knows, and Grand Admiral Thrawn know.
Yeah, but I think
Thrawn's never alluded to it, and there's never confirmed it, but he knows.
Thrawn is very good at implying things without actually committing to it. He's very careful like that.
But as I said, Grand Moff Tarkin, he knows.
Grand Moff Tarkin knows and has made it clear that he knows, and it doesn't bother Vader too much because he respects Moff Tarkin.
Yeah. Whereas I don't think he respects the Grand Inquisitor. I don't think he gives a shit.
He respects no one else, really, except for the Emperor.
So, I mean, Director Krennic didn't know, did he?
No, but he didn't respect him either. He didn't give a shit about him.
Well, he doesn't give a
He's
shit.
like, don't choke on your aspirations, director, as he's fucking force choking it.
I actually like Krennic. I thought he was quite cool. But I did love the way, as I think we've spoke about previously, the way they've brought back not only James Earl Jones, but they made him sound like how he did back in the original trilogy. He's badass.
Yeah, it is really cool, yeah. And one of the things over this whole series as a whole that I was quite disappointed by is that while they did make a reference to Quinlan Voss like we were hoping, I was hoping.
What, you don't see?
You don't see anything.
I think...
No confirmations, nothing.
And I was like, I think it's too much for a 6-episode season. Give it till season 2, and you probably will see Quinlan Voss.
And also the thing that as well that was be quite interesting is that they've confirmed that the next game takes place in the same time period as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
What?
It is set 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, so it's 5 years after the original game.
What do you mean, the Fallen Order Survivor?
Yeah, Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor. That's what it's called, Jedi Survivor.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
I called it Fallen Order 2 for ages, so yeah, it's fine.
So then you have what? Vader and Palpatine talking. Is they're like, look, you seem weak. You're a bit weak. You're agitated. And there's the way he talks to Vader, and then Vader just stops. You can see he's thinking, and it's the way he sits up in his chair. Like, look, if he gets a wind of Anakin still residing in me, he's going to replace me at the drop of a hat. And wasn't it that he was already working on replacements for Vader? But obviously...
Yeah, see, in the comic books, he was working on cyborgs rather than actual Force users. Because he was like, I don't need anyone using the Force, really. And obviously Vader just wrecked their absolute shit because, you know, he's Vader. He's Vader. He just cuts everybody down.
So, it's just the way he's like, oh, you're a bit weak. You still got feelings for your old master, my friend. And he was like, you seem agitated, my friend. And he's like, I ain't agitated, bitch. Motherfucking fucking kick my ass. Of course I'm fucking agitated. What kind of stupid question is that? Oh, you seem agitated. Nah. No fucking shit, I'm agitated. What a stupid question. Fucking old bitch. Fucking wrinkly old man. So I was like, wasn't the first time we ever see you back in 1977, your face was a monkey. Fuck you. Fuck you, monkey boy. And I was like, how dare you try disrespecting me, Caesar? It's like, oh, you want to go down that road calling me Caesar? It's like, yes, I'm going to go down that road. Fucking monkey bitch, fuck you. No, it's just... As I said,
I think the one I wasn't expecting, though, at the end was Qui-Gon Jinn.
So then
that was great.
So then you get it where Obi-Wan goes to Owen and is like, look, I'm done, I'm leaving Tatooine.
Yeah.
He's going on a new adventure. What the fuck that is, I don't know. As I said, whether we might have spoke about this before, I don't remember, but I want to see live action fight between
Black
Chrysanthemum and Obi-Wan. I want to see it. Now that Obi-Wan's left Tatooine, I want to see him take on...
We actually fought Black Chrysanthemum on Tatooine.
Yeah, because obviously he went after Owen.
Yeah, I think basically what happened is that there's a whole bunch of comic books that are canon, and it's part of Obi-Wan's adventures on Tatooine, and on one of those adventures he does fight Black Chrysanthemum, and you're sitting there like, I fucking want this fight in live action right fucking now.
Now that because obviously the Book of Boba Fett, we've got Chrysanthemum live action,
and we know that he's got the scar, so we're just like, make it happen.
Make it happen. It's like, this is still before obviously that happens. Make the fight happen. I want to see Kenobi versus Chrysanthemum. That is going to be fucking epic. Yeah, the fight between Boba and Chrysanthemum was alright, but Kenobi versus Chrysanthemum, that shit is going to be next level.
Innit?
So...
It's going to school that fucking walking carpet.
If he kills him, if he gives that to Grievous, I'm going to be so fucking furious. Okay, yeah, Grievous is dead, but still. And it's like, I'm going to take the pelt of this Wookiee and I'm going to put it on Grievous, and there I've got me a tarantula.
A tarantula droid.
I'm sorry to bring that up again, but I had to do it. That's the only thing I could think of, and I had to bring it up again. I fucking hate myself for it, but it had to be done. And I stand by it, so bollocks.
You can have a tarantula droid. With lightsabers.
I don't like it. So then like he's there going up to Owen like, I'm done with Tatooine, I'm done with this shit, I'm fucking off, I'm going on some new adventures. You're responsible for Luke, don't fuck this up because I will end you, bitch.
No, I think basically what Obi-Wan was saying is that Owen was right and that he shouldn't force the training on Luke, and that if he wants it, he can get it later.
Yeah, it's like if he wants to be a Jedi, he can. I won't force him to, but it's his choice. So I say that, okay, as much as I would love to see the fight between Obi-Wan and Chrysanthemum is maybe Obi-Wan goes to Dagobah. we might see Yoda in season 2. The bit that I am happy about, where Owen's like, "You want to meet the boy," and Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, duh, and ask a stupid question, you fucking farming bitch. I doesn't want to fucking meet him, moisturising twat." And the way he just gets down, goes over to him, and it's like, and Luke just turns around and goes, "Hello," and he's "Hello there." And it's like, yes, you bloody fucking said it.
We wanted it. We needed it.
I wanted it in episode 3. It didn't happen. Was the fact that he just, when he went up, I had to pause that because I was celebrating. It's like, yes, he finally fucking said this. I've been waiting for this moment for so long, and he finally fucking said it. And everyone else was like, "Hello there," and it's like, yes.
And the thing that was good about it is that he said it when he's effectively back to his old self as well. So you're just like, yes, this is perfect.
It's like it's
a signal for he is back to the way he is.
It was the most perfect thing. It's like, how do we know Kenobi's back to the way he was? It's simple. It's like the way he walks up to Luke. It's like, "Hello there." It's like, yes, we got him. Kenobi's back, bitches. And it's like, right, I'm done. See you later, Owen. Bye, Brute. Bye, Luke. I'm fucking off. And then he's coming to what I found out, but I didn't know, or might not recognise, is the canon that he comes to is when you see Anakin going through on the pod races, which is a bit poetic.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Is where he's going off to, where obviously you get the appearance of Qui-Gon Jinn. Is where it all started, where Anakin goes through during the pod race
yeah.
in Phantom Menace. And then that's where obviously, lo and behold, Liam Neeson turned. I'm so glad Liam Neeson turned up.
I know, I was so surprised. And then when he did, I was like, fuck yes.
Because I don't think Liam Neeson was actually going to do it. I think it was just he was going to do a voice of Qui-Gon. But the fact that he actually did appear as a Force ghost.
I think basically the reason why he chose to do it in the end is that he's in the animated show that's coming out later this year in October. And it's about Count Dooku, so he was doing the voice for that.
But ain't there also a 3-episode miniseries on Qui-Gon himself, though?
I think that's going to be the next season. The current season for it, there's only 6 episodes, 3 episodes per person each. So it's going to be Ahsoka and Count Dooku. So he's going to be in the Count Dooku one because he was his...
Plus, I think deep down Liam Neeson knew, like, I've got to give the fans what they want, and they want to see me.
It has to...
In my Jedi robes, they want to see me as Qui-Gon.
They want to see Jin, man.
And fuck me, we got Jin. I am so glad we got to see him. And it was like, took you long enough. And it was like, I didn't think you were coming. And it's like, well, of course he was going to come.
And the reason, what's funny about it is the way they're saying it. We're sitting there, we were sitting there, we were just like, everybody was thinking that since Phantom Menace. Where have you been?
It's like, where have you been, Qui-Gon? And so it's like, well, you weren't ready to see me, Kenobi. You were a fucking mess. Look at you. You're pathetic. You weren't ready to see me, you little bitch. Now I'm back again. Let's go. It was good.
I was so happy that he came back. I was like, this is so good.
As I said, before I actually watched it, I was seeing as like there were surprise cameos. I was like, okay, maybe one of them is Qui-Gon and the other one was Yoda. I was not expecting Palpatine. I wasn't expecting to see a little snippet of Palpatine. I'm glad we got it. And I'm super glad we got the hello there. And I'm also glad we got Qui-Gon.
See, when I heard that there was secret cameos, I actually thought that one was going to be Palpatine. Because it made sense. Because obviously this is Darth Vader when he is part of the Empire, the Fist of the Emperor and all of that shit. So I thought probably maybe we'll get Palpatine and maybe Yoda. I was not expecting Qui-Gon Jinn at all. And I was hoping it was going to be Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, I think everyone was hoping it was going to be Qui-Gon. But I don't think people were expecting it to be Qui-Gon. Now, see, the thing is, it's maybe I would like to see it. I don't see it. I don't see this happening. But I like to see Obi-Wan going on his adventures and he finds out a rumour that Mace Windu's alive.
Yeah, I would say that would be a really good idea.
I don't see it happening because the thing is,
Mace Windu is a big character.
it's not just that he's a big character. Is they can obviously use de-aging technology on Samuel L. Jackson because Samuel L. Jackson's
Old as fuck.
old as hell. They can de-age him, but Jesus Christ, he wants to fucking come back. He has said to Disney, bitch, if you want, it's like, well, to do it in a more Samuel L. Jackson way, motherfucker, if you want me, I'm here. I'm willing to come back. Ewan McGregor has always said he would love to come back as Obi-Wan and play Obi-Wan again. He did. Hayden Christensen was a bit different, but I'm glad he agreed to it.
I think as soon as Ewan McGregor confirmed that he was going to come back, he was just like, yo, I get to work with Ewan McGregor again. I'm definitely going to come back now.
But did you see the interview that Hayden Christensen done when he found out that he was coming back? When he was like, do you want to come back as Anakin? He said that he was fucking air lightsaber fighting with his fucking friend in, like, I think it's his flat or something. That he's like, I was jumping around and we pretended to have a lightsaber fight. I was like, holy Christ, he's a child.
Well, he does have kids, so that does make sense.
Oh, it's not just that. He's such a Star Wars fan. Even now, it's like, God, it's not like he's disenfranchised from it. It's like, he's one of us. And I love that about love that about Hayden Christensen.
That's the same with Ewan McGregor, though. I mean, Ewan McGregor's the same. I mean, wasn't his uncle in the first movie?
Yes, his uncle is, I forget who, I don't even know.
Was it Wedge?
Possibly, yeah. So he's been a fan his entire life. So is obviously Hayden Christensen. But it's the fact that Ewan McGregor's like, all right, I'll come back. I've always said that I would love to, and he did. And it's like, okay, he's back. Oh, we're thinking of putting Vader in. Oh, but we'll also have snippets of Anakin. Hayden, you want to come back? Oh, fuck yeah, we'll stupid questions out. So,
I think for a very long time, Hayden Christensen was very against it because of how much negative feedback he got. But after actually speaking to the fans at Comic-Con, they fucking love him. They're just like, no, we want you to come back.
He was weary due to obviously the backlash, but then since obviously the prequels ended and then you got the Disney trilogy and how much they were hated more, I would say they're probably hated more. Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Definitely the Last Jedi is hated more than the whole prequel trilogy. He's probably like, all right, maybe I think he was still a bit weary, but over the years, where some of them fans who were probably younger during the prequel trilogy has grown up and come to terms with things more and understood things better and have accepted it more and have accepted him. It's probably put him at ease and he's come to terms with it.
What he said is that he's gone to quite a few Comic-Cons and
he's
spoken to fans, and as he's discovered, the general consensus is everybody forgives him.
Yeah.
And this is they recognised that actually it wasn't his fault. It was just because George Lucas, even though he created the universe that we all love so much, he's not a good writer on his own. He's not. He needs people to tell him no sometimes.
So it's good that he's finally getting the love and respect that he deserves as an actor. As I said, because for me, he portrayed Anakin beautifully.
Now, exactly as I wanted him to be.
Yeah. Now, obviously, the next thing, which again we won't see in any, well, definitely not in live action, maybe animated, who definitely deserves to be accepted back is Ahmed Best as Jar Jar. Because he got... Don't
get me wrong, I don't hate Ahmed Best.
No.
I don't.
But you hate Jar Jar.
Don't like Jar Jar Binks. I
think if there's someone else that deserves to be loved again, like the way Hayden has been accepted back, is Ahmed Best. as I said, even if it's just like, oh, kind of like a little thing is what happened, the fall of Jar Jar Binks or something, to see like an episode or two of what happened, like 45-minute episodes of what happened to Jar Jar Binks and kind of like the demise of Jar Jar. I'd be alright with that. Because wasn't it in it, isn't it? I don't think it's in canon, but it might be in Legends that you see him and he becomes a street performer. Wasn't it? That he goes from this senator to basically a clown.
Yeah, that was a Legends one.
So if they were to do something like that in canon, but for Jar Jar, I'd be alright with that because, you know, it'd be having Ahmed Best as back as Jar Jar. I'd be alright with that.
Yeah, that was the Legends interpretation of it, but don't forget the Legends is created by fans and fans fucking hate Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, that's true, but as I said, I think more so now a lot of fans have actually gone onto the side of they actually quite like Jar Jar. I've definitely seen more people say they like Jar Jar.
I will not be going up there.
Well, we agree to disagree.
I do not like Jar Jar at all.
But
I don't. But again, like I said, I don't think the guy that played him deserves the hate that he got.
No. The writers deserve the hate for probably how badly they wrote the character. The character deserved the hate, not the actor. But as I said, it's good to see Hayden back. It's good to see Ewan back. It's good to see Liam Neeson back.
Yeah.
Now all we're missing is Samuel motherfucking Jackson back.
Yeah, let's round out that prequel trilogy shit.
As I said, like, he's basically like the only other big character missing now. We've got Yoda.
Yeah, exactly.
Now all we need is Mace Windu. He's the only other major character missing. So if they were to bring back Mace, we're like, all right, de-age him. Samuel Jackson, as I said, he's always said that he would love to come back as Mace Windu. And as I said, apparently he's asked George Lucas, am I alive? And George is like, look, if you want to be alive, go ahead and be alive. So it's like, okay, he's basically got the blessing from the grandfather himself, Papa George.
Yeah.
Then, fuck it, bring back Mace Windu.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, they would have to find a way to explain why he's not around when Obi-Wan was training Luke. But then again, they've got shitloads of fucking Jedi running around at the moment that don't appear in the new
What you mean,
opening.
like with Quinlan Voss?
We've got Quinlan Voss, who's, as far as we're aware, is confirmed to still be alive. You've got Cal Kestis, who is alive.
I nearly said Kanan, but that's a no-no.
Kanan's definitely not, no.
Ezra
is alive.
Unless we find out what happens to him in Ahsoka.
We know why he didn't show up in the original trilogy as well, because obviously he got hyperspaced into the unknown regions. And as Thrawn said, the unknown regions are notoriously difficult to...
God, imagine if fucking Snoke is Ezra. Obviously he's not.
Yeah, that would have sucked.
Oh God, that would have been shit.
He'd just be like, look how they massacred our boy.
It was like, what happened to Ezra? So it was like, well, he looks like that.
Got
whatever that is.
He looks like melted ice cream.
Jesus. That's an image.
It was like he went into the unknown regions and now he's got
like,
melted.
there are plenty of Jedi that are still alive. And there was like, oh, why didn't Mace come back? And so it was like, really? Did you see what happened to that motherfucker? He got thrown out of the fucking
Senate building.
The Senate building from the top floor. It said everything that he knew and loved, again, like Obi-Wan, is gone.
If he's not dead, that fucker is broken in some way.
He's so broken because he was responsible with Yoda for the Jedi Order. And he agreed, or he gave permission to Obi-Wan to train Anakin. He probably blames himself in a certain way. Because, like, well, if I turned down Obi-Wan's request to train the boy...
See, I don't think in that respect he would... he wouldn't be blaming Anakin in that respect. He'd be blaming himself for not realizing that Darth Sidious was Sidious.
Well,
don't forget, he didn't have his claws in Anakin until Mace deliberately tried to use him as a spy. To spy on the Senator, and you're just like, you opened Anakin up to this manipulation.
Because he's like, look, we suspect there's something wrong with the Chancellor. Spy on him for us. And it's like, no, this is not the Jedi way. What the fuck am I going to spy on him for? We don't do this. The hell's wrong with you? It's like, high-ranking Jedi member my ass. And it's like, you're near enough on equal ranking to Yoda. My ass am I doing? This is not the Jedi way. What the fuck is wrong with you, fool?
Yeah, and I think... I think he would blame Anakin because he was too weak to avoid being corrupted by the dark side.
I think he might slightly, in a way, blame himself.
I think he would blame himself for not clocking on that fucking Sidious was a fucking Sith Lord the entire time.
Yeah, but I think because they were too clouded in with all the politics, and I don't think they would have ever caught that because they were too caught up with stuff. They were blindsided by the war, and Palpatine.
A war that he manufactured.
Yeah, he played both sides perfectly. And then obviously profited from it by becoming the Emperor.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, they suspected him of something, but they could never figure out what it was.
It was like Palpatine's rise to Emperor is like Hitler's rise to Führer. He gets elected Chancellor and then appoints himself Emperor. Hitler becomes Chancellor, appoints himself Führer.
Yeah, well, I mean, the same principle applied to Julius Caesar as well, though, didn't it? It was a republic. He became the leader of that republic. And he declared martial law and declared himself dictator for life.
Yeah, I mean, he was appointed dictator, and then he was due to serve another 10 years, because they were like, yeah, let's keep this guy around. And the Senate were like, no, fuck this guy, he's getting too powerful, let's end this bitch.
And then he declared himself dictator for life.
And then he died.
So while he never actually became emperor in title, yeah, he was in power.
Because the moment he died, the Republic collapsed and the Empire was born.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a reason why every emperor had fucking Caesar in their name somewhere.
Because he was like
the first.
He was like the most badass. But as I said, even if Mace Windu doesn't turn up in live action, if it's animated, I'm all for it. But I just want to see Mace Windu back. As I said, he's the only other major character that's yet to come back.
Yeah.
As I said, you've got Yoda, you've got Palpatine, Anakin, Obi-Wan,
even fucking Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon, Luke's come back, Han and Leia. I'm not going to count Vader, but you could maybe. But as I said, the only other major one now is really Mace Windu.
Yeah, especially from the prequels.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for today. I think we're all done. And what's next on the agenda? I think we'll discuss. What's that movie? 4. What is it? Love and Thunder? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll discuss that next time. It's alright, cool. Right, that's that for today, and we'll see you next time for the discussion of 4 Love and Thunder.